Having spent a lot of time here in the BGA over the last couple of episodes, it's time for us to turn our attention to the harvest. We have plenty of crops that are ready to be brought in, so we're going to do that today. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome to Big Bud Farm. So, I've been asked in the comments by Jim Scales how much digestate I actually have, and well, I'm completely maxed out. As you can see, we have hit the full limit there of 800,000 litres. I didn't even think about maybe siphoning some of this off and storing it somewhere as we were shredding all of that silage, so we could have ended up making a lot more, but as it is, we have completely filled up this tank. I just actually want to run up these steps and see if we can see a really high fill level inside. Yes, we can. Look at that. Look, it is literally on the point of overflowing. There is all of our digestate. So yeah, next time we do a big silage sale like that, I suppose what we should probably do is actually put some storage down somewhere, transfer a load out, and then continue to add more at a later point. That's something to think about for next time, I suppose. Right, let's make our way over to the fields, weave our way through the equipment and the little bit of chaff that's on the ground there. So, as I say, we have quite a bit of harvesting to get done. Field 1 and Field 3, they both have soybean on them. They are ready to go, and they're fully fertilised as well. And we also have Field 5, which has our sugar beets. Now, we may not do the sugar beets today. We may save that for, for the next episode. But we have got an awful lot, as you can see, of soybean that needs to be done. This field alone will take a little while. But Field 3 is a 33 hectare field, so that's going to take, quite a bit of time, even with two combines running in tandem. I've put one of the mother bins in position already. We still have another one to move. Our combines are lined up on the field and ready, and so is our 450 with the auger wagon. That's also in position and ready as well. So literally we just have to put the other mother bin in place, and then we can get started with the harvest itself. I've spent time up to ×5, so it's probably going to end up getting dark by the time we've finished with our crop harvest. We may well have to work into the early hours of the of the night as well, if we want to get Field 3 done as well. But I do kind of want to get all of my grain harvested today, if possible. As I say, we'll do the sugar beets probably another time. So let's head over to the 450. There we go. I just want to quickly get rid of this help window. And it's been so long since I've used these mother bins. We haven't done a harvest on this farm for about 4 months. Since we've come back, obviously we've done some planting, we've done some fertilizing, we've done some silage work, but we haven't really done any harvesting. This is going to be our first proper grain harvest in a long time here. And there is that monstrously big mother bin. 185,000 litre storage. Let's take the cover off. There we go. So we'll need that. We've got one at the other end of the field as well. We'll need that so that we have somewhere to unload our auger wagon, our chaser, so we can keep the combines running at all time. Now, if you're a long-term viewer of this series, you'll have seen me sort of juggling between these two combines. I've had to do some equipment resetting to make sure that they are all in sequence. So if I jump in, you can see we've got the two combines and the chaser all within a couple of clicks away from each other. It just makes it so much easier than having the equipment staggered all over the place. This is something I've been meaning to do for a while, just never got round to. So let's get the engine on, unfold, hire a worker, and we'll do the same in this combine as well. Engine on, unfold, worker hired. And our job is going to be to basically run and chase both of these combines. As they get to the top, we'll be taking control of them to stop them from turning around and coming back down the same side of the field, because obviously it's a really long to actually manage them to do that. At least I don't think we will. I'm going to stick behind this combine here, I'm pretty sure that we won't have enough capacity to actually turn around and come back down again. I may be wrong. It's been such a long time since we've done a harvest on this. I'll keep this one here empty. We'll let the one in front get as full as possible. Set my cruise control to 6. There we go. We're going to just trail behind like this so that we're not burning out the auger in the combine. We'll let them run and run and run. We'll keep draining the level of the fill tank on the second harvester, the one that's closest to us. We'll let the first one fill up as much as it can. I want to see just how far it can get. It may well be that I can simply empty them at the top and just let them turn around. Although they are going to kind of trip over each other if we do that. So what I'll usually do is I usually sort of get to the top and then I'll manually take control, move them over to the opposite side of the field, let them run down that side, and that way I can empty them as I go and then have something to actually drop into the mother bin there. I think we'll probably just stick with that. It is a tried and tested method. It works, and yeah, it just makes things a little bit easier to do it that way, I think. The real trick when you're running multiple combines like this is to make sure that they don't both fill up at about the same sort of time. You want to keep them staggered, so that while one is being unloaded, the other one has still got enough space in the tank to continue filling. So this one's probably around about 6,000–7,000 litres in here. We're just going to trim this one out, let the other one sort of take the lead in terms of grain storage inside the combine. This way we don't have to worry about one of them running, filling up and stopping while we're emptying the other. You know, they're both going to be sort of staggered quite nicely this way. And there we go, that one's empty, so just let that carry on in front of us. Move back into position behind this one here. We'll wait for the next one to get to the point now where its lights are going to start flashing when it hits that 80% fill warning. A little bit close, which is why it's tagged the pipe. I'm going to drift away a touch. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, just waiting now for this one to start flashing its beacons to say I'm at 80% and I need an unload. When that happens, we can then drop back and tag this combine. And all the while that one there will continue to be able to fill. But yeah, as I say, the trick to running two combines like this is to stagger them, not just in terms of obviously their distance, but also in terms of their fill levels. If you start them both off at the same time and you try and let them run continuously the same amount of time, then they're both going to need emptying at the same point, and while you're filling and servicing one of them and unloading that, the other one is just going to fill up and stop and break the dual combine run. So it takes a little bit of practice, and it depends on the size of the field, and also it also depends on the crop that you are harvesting as well. Different crops will have different fill levels, so some will work like this where you can have very long runs up the field before you need to do any kind of emptying. Others, like wheat or barley, will have to do a lot of emptying before you are ready to you have to do a lot of emptying on the run up the field. Again, it all depends on the crop and it all depends on the size of the field. This field here, say it's 33 hectares, so it's a pretty big field. You know, by a long shot, it's much bigger than anything we get in the default maps from Giants. But it's tiny in comparison to field 2. There's an 80 hectare field, and you can see just from the mini-map, you know, not just it's obviously a lot thinner and narrower, but it's also a lot shorter as well. So you have to kind of take these things into consideration when you do try and do a dual run like this. It takes a little bit of testing with different crops to see how far you can go before you need to empty a combine. And you can see we are emptying this one here. This one is now having hit that 80% fill warning. We can get this one completely emptied before we hit the top. And then whatever we get in here, we'll dump into the mother bin. So we've got about 23,500 litres. That's not too bad at all. So now that we're nice and empty on that rear combine, I don't have to worry about that one. You can see probably about half a tank full in the front one there. I'm going to go and deposit this into the mother bin, and while that's emptying, it gives me time to then take control of the combines and empty those, and turn those, move them to the other side of the field. Just repositioning the auger arm just there. There we go. So we're up to 8,500 litres in this one out of a total storage of 14,500. That's not too bad at all. Now, of course, if I spend too long in this one when we get to the end, then the AI on the other one is automatically just going to get to the end and try and turn around. We want to stop that from happening. So it gets to the end, I fire the AI worker. I'm going to push forward a little bit, switch combines, and I'm going to fire the AI worker in that one as well, so it doesn't turn around and start heading back down the field. Because if I remember rightly, say it's been months and months since I did a harvest, but if I remember rightly, it's just too long a field to actually run continuously with a single combine. It will fill up, and if it fills up on the opposite side, then it'll try and unload into the field, and that's not something we want to do. So we get that one started. Let's run this way quickly. Get this one started on the inside track, and then jump straight back into the 450 with the chaser bin. Go and unload that front combine, because that will be getting close. It's up to what, 9,000 litres in there now. That's why it's really good idea to make sure that you have the equipment in quick tab range when you are running on a field like this. So we need to hit that front one first. Should be starting to get an 80% warning around the same time we get there, or certainly not far afterwards. There is the 80% warning just as we arrived. We timed that perfectly. So again, we're just going to run alongside this one. We're going to empty this. Once it's emptied and the grain count slows right down, we will drop back. We will sort of shadow the rear combine and wait for that one to hit its 80% warning. Empty that one and keep shuttling between the two all the way up and down the field on both sides. This is essentially how we run multiple combines on our own in single player on the consoles. It's a little time consuming and you don't really get to drive the combines, but it's a great way to reduce the amount of time that it takes to bring the harvest in, so on these big fields. Another thing you want to take into consideration is you want to make sure that you have time to actually move the combines from one side of the field to the other. So you don't want to be unloading as you reach the edge of the field. You want to kind of have that done before you get there. So sometimes it's better to do a preemptive unload so that when you reach the point like that, when you're empty, you still have a little bit of space before the edge of the field, a little bit of time, so that you can then go and position your chaser over the drop-off point, you know, be it a truck or in this case, you know, the mother bin. It gives you time to position that so it can start emptying, and while it's doing that you then have time to sort of take control of the combines and move them from one side of the field to the other. You haven't got to worry about them trying to turn and go back up the field while you're still positioning your chaser bin. Like that. So there you can see it's given me that little bit of time to get that in position, start the unload process into the mother bin before we reach the end here. And of course, as you reach further and further inside the field, then the turnover time or the turnaround time of your combines will get shorter and shorter. You'll have less distance to travel each time between passes. So you can see I've just about got enough time to actually get this one positioned and lined up. Before I take control of the second one. Run that along the top of the field or the bottom of the field as quickly as I can, get lined up again on the other side. And because each time the gap between the combines is going to get shorter and shorter as well, because you know, you're always working on a shorter inside distance, it's always coming down, you've always got less distance to travel. So sometimes it's worth maybe just pausing for a second, just a split second, before you actually set the second combine back off again, just so you don't run through the gap too quickly and get them too close again that you can't turn them over nice and easily when you move to the next edge of the field. In other news, Railway Empire is now live on the channel. I'm running through the campaign first of all. Once that is complete, we will start looking at some of the scenarios as well, and we'll also get into a little bit of free play as well, where we can just design and build our own custom railroad with no restrictions. And if you haven't checked that out, I do urge you to do that. I'll link that in the description as well. And going back to what's next, the other event that I was kind of keeping close eye on during what's next was spin tyres. Obviously, Mudrunner spin tyres is also published by Focus Home Interactive, and we finally have confirmed details of when the next DLC is going to go live. It's February 13th. It's going to be a free DLC available to all systems, so PlayStation, Xbox and PC. It'll introduce a brand new map, the Valley, and 3 new vehicles as well as a selection of implements that can be applied to those vehicles in the garage, and 1 implement that can be applied to the existing vehicles as well. Really looking forward to that. We will have some of that up on the channel once that goes live as well. We're about halfway through this field now. We've made some pretty good progress. We're definitely going to have time to get our second field done as well, but as I say, we are going to leave the sugar beets for another day. Start unloading into the mother bin there. So you can see we've carved this quite a big strip, And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to start slowing down how quickly I transition the first combine from one side of the field to the other, just to start bringing that gap a little bit closer together, because it's not going to take us so long to actually turn the combines around now. Obviously we're travelling a lot shorter a distance between each pass. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. There we go. Let's get it underway now. And just by shortening this gap, it makes it a little bit easier to turn them around at the end of each pass, but also it makes them a little bit easier to actually transfer between when we're unloading as well. There we go. Plus I think it looks good when you have the combines running so close to each other as well. Just taking a quick look at the prices, and you can see that we currently have a price at Small Farm of $1,000 per 1,000 litres. That's a really nice little price actually for this map. And we have a second price at the mill of $940, so we have a slightly lower backup price as well. I don't know if we'll sell all of our soybean, but we may well sell quite a big chunk of our soybean once we've finished this particular harvest. I have said in the past that I don't like to use the mother bins as a way to unload the grain. I do feel it's a little bit cheaty. In reality, those mother bins are designed to be movable up to 1/3 full. You know, anything above that, and then they start to become too heavy to pull. Now it's a little bit different because we have, you know, a big bud 747, so we have a considerably larger amount of power available to us than a traditional farm might have with that 1100 horsepower. But even so, I still don't like selling, you know, the mother bins or direct from mother bins. I kind of feel it kind of breaks the whole purpose of the mother bin. Am I on the right combine? I am. Yeah, there we go. I mean, they are designed as a kind of a portable midway point, so they sit either just on the field or just off the field, and as a nice overflow storage point for you to transfer grains from your combines to your trucks. In reality, if we didn't have those mother bins, then we would need substantially more trucks to keep both combines running nice and smoothly, so that we didn't have to wait to unload. Those mother bins provide that nice little kind of stopgap, and because we can't actually run trucks as well as running a tractor with a chaser and combines as well, we just don't have it. Yeah, we don't have enough workers available to help us out with that. Then, you know, we kind of have to play it a little bit by ear. We've got a great demand for wood chips for 24 hours. I think I know what we're going to be doing once we've finished our harvesting. I think we're going to be doing some wood chips. Let's just quickly take a look at that wood chip price. It's 222 at the moment. Now it says we have 0 wood chips. We do actually have a small pile currently of wood chips in the forest towards the back end, and we still have half of that forest available to cut down as well. So I think we might do some serious wood chipping. Make a lot of money. It's been a long time since we did wood chips, and with a great demand we don't have to worry about selling, you know, one trailer at a time. It'll all go through at about the same kind of price. And we do have, you know, that target of about 5.5 million that we need for field field 2. You know, that 80 hectare field. That's the next thing we're going to be looking to acquire. We're up to 1.8 million, and we do still have the full amount of our loan as well. Now, interestingly, I want, you know, if we hit, you know, switched onto seasons, we would immediately be able to push that loan from 300,000 to 1.5 million. So I suppose if you wanted to be a little bit cheaty, you could possibly switch to seasons, get that extra loan money out, buy buy the field with that extra $1.2 million that you wouldn't normally have access to, and then switch seasons back off again. I suppose that is something you could do. It's a bit cheeky to do that. I mean, the whole point of us running this farm has been to do everything legitimately, to grind out that money so that we can own all of these farms, all of these fields through sheer hard work alone. It's on hard, so we've got rubbish crop prices. There's been an awful amount of work that's gone into actually making the progress and building up the roster of equipment that we have right now. We have a lot of very expensive equipment, 2 very expensive combines, 3 450 big buds, a 747. We have a big M, we have a big X1100, we have a Ponzi Scorpion, we have the Legend 950 plus 2 trailers for that, plus we have 2 bale trailers to go with those as well. We've got lots of big scale equipment. We've got an Amazon, a Pantera, that also isn't cheap. Very large machinery all the way throughout our farm, and it's been a grind to get to where we are right now, but the payoff at the end of having completed this map and owned all the fields on hard with poor crop prices and without the ability to mod in money is going to be huge. Everyone said it couldn't be done, but I am determined to prove that it can be. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty on this field, not a huge amount left. I think when we get to the top, we're going to have a full pass and a partial pass left, and that'll be it. So we're getting ready to kind of move over back to the farm so we can work on field 3. But before we do that, we've got a lot of soybean that we need to unload from our 2 mother bins. They are very, very full. The one at the bottom of the field in particular is fast approaching its full capacity. So this is the final unload I'm doing on the field. From here I'm going to start grabbing the truck and actually unloading our mother bins before transferring our harvesters over to field 3 and attacking that soybean over there. Just waiting for this to run down. There we go. And because these 2 combines are both going to empty into the mother bin at the bottom of the field, I'm going to empty this one into the top. actually no, I'm just going to leave this parked up by the side of the field. It's a long way to drive at a slow speed and then have to bring it all the way back down again. So I'll leave this one sort of at the bottom of the field, and we can unload the truck into this, or this into the truck at the same time as we unload the mother bin. And there we go, the field is done. So, as I say, we've just got this unload process to go here. Let's just move this combine to here. We're only going to use the one combine on our other field. Don't need to use them both. And there we go, the unloading is on its way. So once this is unloaded, as I say, we can then fold up this combine, detach the header, and I think I'll use the other combine on our field. That one has slightly less hours on it, so it'll be a little less in terms of the maintenance costs, rather than using this one. Try and keep the sort of hours between the two balanced a little bit. Right, let's get the truck over and unload these mother bins. That's 140,000 litres in the truck, and we still have some soybean left in the mother bin. Let's see if we can just get a rough idea of how much is left in there. Not a huge amount. Not a huge amount at all. So that last little bit that was left in the top mother bin was 17,500 litres. Let's see how much we can get from the remaining grain that we've got here. So we've got this second mother bin, and we've got the auger with a little bit in there as well. So we'll get this emptied as quick as we can, unload the grain back into the silo at the farm, and then come back and get the final little bits, because there are going to be some more bits left over. And there we go, that's the lot. So 6 57,875 additional litres collected off that field. So that's quick mental math time, 280, 347,000 litres or so. That's not too bad at all. And we've still got another field to go. So we're looking to make quite a nice little haul of soybeans from our harvest today. Okay, I was bringing the combine from the other field over and I've just seen this message, no more space to place new pallets of wool. So we're going to have to very quickly jump up to our sheep farm here, jump into our forklift and quickly move a couple of these pallets so that we can continue to make wool. Try and get lined up. There we go, that should do it. We can completely fill the bottom layer of this trailer here. And even start on the next layer as well. There we go, get lined up, realign the forks. That's not quite right. There we go, kind of just forced that pallet on there a little bit. A little unglamorous, but needed to be done. Hopefully it's not going to cause us an issue when we try and unload. And the combine is now ready for an empty. I want to kind of finish off up here if I can. Ooh, stomach gurgling a little bit there. I need to have something to eat. I'm getting hungry. Let's get these last two pallets. If the combine stops, the combine stops. We'll just have to, empty it and get it started again. But I say I don't want to have to come all the way back up here just to do two pallets. So may as well do them all while we're here. And again, just tagging at a slight angle. That's better. This is one of those mods that is just absolutely essential, I think, if you want to do any kind of pallet work. It makes things so much quicker and easier when it comes to stacking multiple pallets. one of my absolutely favourite mods that we have on console is this little Linda forklift. Oops. So I'm slightly wedged. That's not so good. That one doesn't want to come off. Alright, we'll reposition slightly. Don't normally have these issues. It's me saying how easy this thing is to use, and now I seem to have got a pallet completely wedged on the edge of these forks. There we go. Just slide the thing off. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Right. Made a bit of a meal of the last stack, but got it done in the end. So, let's get back over to our soybean field, get the harvester unloaded and carry on harvesting that crop there. It is starting to get pretty late in the day. Not a lot left on this field now. It's getting quite late, as you can see. It's very, very dark. It's gone 10:30 at night. But we've only got another couple of passes to go after this one, and then this field will be done, and we'll have our final tally on our soybean harvest. So this is it then, the final little bit on this field. The truck was filled, emptied, and has now been parked up out of the way. We'll empty the last little bit into our auger wagon and then unload that directly into the silo. So bringing the truck around for just a partial truckload. And there we go, that is it. That is the end of our soybean. So let's see how much we've got off the field. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. So we've been at this for, a long time now. Seeing the last little bit of grain leave the combine there. And 30,090 litres. Okay, so let's go transport this over to the silo. Gonna nip through the traffic here. Pull the arm all the way up, tilt the head all the way in. There we go. And take a slightly wide pass here. And we should be able to empty. Just about, there we go. The price is dropping. Of course it is. Now that we finally have it all in, the price is dropping, and dropping quite quickly as well. Never mind. We'll hang on to it for now. Hopefully we can get a better price than just 1,000. Maybe we can get closer to 1,100, or maybe even, if we're really lucky, get a great demand. And look at that, 450,090 litres. That is a fantastic yield off our two small fields there. So that's it. harvesting is complete for today. Tomorrow, which will be next week's episode, we will do some wood chipping, and then after that we will then turn our attentions to our sugar beets before we get our fields replanted. So that's it from me and Mustang Valley. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Big Bud Farm next week.